Welcome back to another episode of Stand on Guard. I'm your host, David Crayden. So nice to see you here on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. And what a day this is. One day after these by-elections in Montreal and Winnipeg, we'll be back with the results of those by-elections, as if you haven't heard. And what do they mean?
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist.
Yes, as Sasha the cat always said, please like this broadcast and subscribe if you haven't. And if you already have, and make sure you're still subscribed. Hate to mention that every day. It means a lot to a channel this size if you can subscribe. And we're getting close to that magic 30,000. Why is that magic? Well, I don't know. It's the next plateau. One I wasn't always sure we'd make, but I'm so happy with your support. We're getting there. And I think we'll be there very shortly. Big day yesterday. Parliament reopened. There was a protest in front of Parliament Hill, which unfortunately I was not able to attend in person. But this, of course, was the protest regarding why are we not finding out who these spies in the House of Commons are. Just a reminder, Justin Trudeau and opposition leaders, that we need to know. Canadians want to know. So that was a protest about that yesterday. And I'm so happy people of Canada aren't forgetting. The big news yesterday, of course, was the by-election. And, we really can't miss that. I think this is the most cogent remark made about it from Terry Newman over at the National Post. There are no more safe spaces for Trudeau's Liberals. Montreal by-election loss proves it. Yes, the Liberals lost in Montreal. And, let me have a look at the, here's the results from Elections Canada, which I was watching last night. I couldn't believe how slow these things came in. But we have a Louis-Philippe Sauvé of the Bloc Québécois winning with under 30% of the vote. It was a really tight race. And the Liberal candidate came in a close second. But, close second, not good enough. Before we go, let's have a look at the other Manitoba riding. Well, that was a little bit tighter than a lot of people thought it would be. The New Democratic Party won. Leila Dance came out on top with 48.1% of the vote. The Conservatives were a close second with about 44%. So I'm not sure if that's really good or bad news for the Conservatives. They really didn't expect to win, but they did fairly good. So we got to give Poilievre credit for that. That was interesting. But of course, the NDP thought they'd win that. That's been an NDP seat for all but one election in the last 25 years. Stephen Harper won it in 2011. And it's been Winnipeg, let's face it, going back to the 1919 general strike, Winnipeg is a red city. And red in terms of what it means in Canada, not what it means in the US. And it's almost been hard going for Conservatives in that city. So that's no surprise. But the big surprise, of course, well, no surprise if you can read your tea leaves, your political tea leaves. The Liberals lost big time in Montreal, not because coming a close second didn't mean that they weren't competitive. This was a seat much like St. Paul's in Toronto, St. Paul's, that had been Liberal for years. Montreal, you have to understand, is a Liberal stronghold. And even during the Mulroney years, it tended to vote Liberal. You have to go back to the age of Sir John A. Macdonald, when Montreal was not a Liberal city. It's very Liberal. It votes Liberal because it's the English part of Quebec. It still speaks English as its business language. Most of the Anglophones are living in the Montreal area. And it fears the separatists, the encroachment of the separatists. So it's always voted for the strongest party. And that's in Quebec, that's traditionally been the Liberal Party. So when the Liberals in Quebec, in Montreal, are deserting the Liberal Party for the NDP and the Bloc, something is definitely askew with the leadership and the policies of the Liberal Party. So we shouldn't be surprised at the result. But bear in mind, this was a seat, a safe Liberal seat held by the former Justice Minister, David Lametti. Yes, one of those February criminals who invoked the Emergencies Act against the Freedom Convoy. Lametti could see the writing on the wall for himself when he resigned over a year ago. And that story had perfect closure last night when that seat did not go to his successor. So what happened in the House of Commons yesterday? Interesting.
We're looking forward to this.
This, of course, is the Conservative member from St. Paul.
I have the honor to inform the House that the Clerk of the House has received from the Chief Electoral Officer a certificate of election and return of Mr. Stewart, member for the Electoral District of Toronto, St. Paul.
This is very symbolic because, of course, it was the by-election loss this summer of Toronto St. Paul, a very safe Liberal seat for decades, went to a Conservative. That was the beginning of the end of Justin Trudeau's leadership. So it's very apropos that the fall session of Parliament would begin with this new MP taking his seat. The message here is clear. It's over for you, Justin Trudeau. You lost a safe seat, and you're going to lose one tonight. There is a sense the Liberals are going to lose again that night. And
Mr. Speaker, it is an honor to present to you Don Stewart, the member for the Electoral District of Toronto St. Paul's. He has taken the oath, signed the roll, and now claims the right to take his seat.
Let the honourable member take his seat.
Well, he gets the handshake from the deputy leading the Conservative Party. Glad hands with Andrew Scheer, former leader, New Front Ventures. And it's a proud moment. There's no question about that. How long is he going to be sitting in that seat before the next election? That's the real question, isn't it? Because he's won the by-election, and when he won that by-election, it looked pretty definite that we were going to have a fall 2025 election because the NDP coalition was holding up. Now, of course, it's an open question as to whether or not we're going to have a fall 2024 election. It is a very good possibility. Every day it becomes more of a probability. Now, I predict that the NDP win in Winnipeg is going to save Jagmeet Singh's leadership for the moment. Had he lost that seat to the Conservatives, the knives would have been out last night. It would have been over for Jagmeet Singh. This is why he's doing all of this. This is why he's decided to rip up the coalition agreement with the Liberals. This is why he's decided to stop supporting the consumer side of the climate tax, the carbon tax. He's no longer talking like Justin Trudeau about carbon's a pollution, and the carbon tax is effective. Justin Trudeau is, you watching Question Period, how betrayed he is. He feels so betrayed. And it just oozes out of his pores. But Jagmeet Singh saved his leadership last night. But this is going to embolden him to say, hey, if I can win in Winnipeg, I think I can pick up seats I think I can pick up seats from the Liberals who are collapsing. Every once in a while, there is a collapse with a federal party. It happened in 1993 with the federal Progressive Conservatives. Remember that oxymoron of a party. Brian Mulroney left that party in complete tatters. And of course, it was Kim Campbell took over the leadership. Horrible, horrible leader. Was very, very briefly the first prime minister, female prime minister of Canada. Lost the ensuing election to Jean Chrétien, actually over the H-101 helicopter deal, because I was working at NDHQ at the time. And it was all over for the Progressive Conservatives at that point. They never recovered from that. And we know what happened. The Reform Party rose in the West, eventually gobbled up what was left of the Progressive Conservative Party. And now it's really a conservative party again under Pierre Poilievre. So these are things that happen. The Liberal Party right now is headed for that kind of extinction in the next election. I don't know if it's going to be permanent, but they're headed for a catastrophic election loss, and they could come in fourth very, very easily. And the NDP could be the official opposition again, as they were under Jack Layton. And in those days, the Liberals were a backbench party. They had third and fourth party status at times. It very easily could happen again. The writing is on the wall. And that's what that by-election in Montreal said last night to Justin Trudeau. Of course, Trudeau says he's not going to resist. He's already said, win or lose in Montreal, I'm staying on as leader. Where have you heard that before? I mean, literally 24 hours before Joe Biden was pushed out of the Democratic presidential candidacy, he said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. I'm running again. I am going to seek re-election. 24 hours before he was thrown out on his ass, and he announced, yep, it's time to hand the torch to a new generation. I've seen the light. Justin Trudeau can see the light too. When those Liberal Party backroom bosses, the donors, the people with the money who write the checks, who do the big e-transfers, when they say, Justin, it's over. You've destroyed the Liberal Party. You have to go. We might be able to resuscitate it. We might be able to resurrect it with a new leader. Yeah. Named Mark Carney. That's where they're putting all of their eggs in the Mark Carney basket. They've got nobody else. What? Chrystia Freeland? Mark Miller? Melanie Jolie? No, all they've got is Mark Carney, and they're going to sell him as the antidote to Justin Trudeau. Although all he is a clone of Justin Trudeau. He's the same globalist. He's the same dangerous man. He's the same guy with no ideas that he doesn't get from the World Economic Forum and the Bilderberg system. And that's exactly what they would be getting. But that's the plan. So Justin Trudeau can say all he wants. I'm not going anywhere. Really not his decision to make. It was not his decision to be the Liberal Party leader. He was put there by larger forces. He was sustained by larger forces, and he's going to be taken down by larger forces than he. Now, let's watch a little of the question period yesterday, because it's quite fascinating. Because I love what Poilievre said to Trudeau when he said, yeah, it's over.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. What we're doing, Mr. Speaker, when we announced in Quebec a significant investment in Telesat to create good jobs in Quebec, which will have...
Okay, Trudeau couldn't stand the fact that Elon Musk said, I can do this for half the price. I can provide internet service to rural Canada for half the price of your Telesat. Your Liberal crony friends can provide it. Don't give me this BS about this being about Canadian jobs. This is about supplying Trudeau's Liberal friends with money. And Trudeau hates the fact that the Conservatives found a cheaper option.
Have an impact on productivity and national security in Canada and all around the world. The Conservative response was to call their friend Elon Musk to say, no, you can't send those jobs here to Canada.
Let's have a look. What's he talking about? This. The industry minister is so upset that Michael Barrett got a response from Elon Musk about how much would it cost to have rural service provided. Elon Musk said half of what Telesat is offering you, but Starlink can do it for half the price. That's what this is all about. Terrible. And by the way, Elon Musk is a Canadian citizen. He has dual citizenship. Actually, true? No. triple citizenship. South Africa, Canada, and South Africa. Let's go back to Trudeau doesn't know this.
Instead, you should be giving your money to American billionaires. We find that completely far-fetched. We are here to invest in Quebecers for the future.
A Canadian billionaire.
The Leader of the Opposition.
After 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crime's up, time's up. And now he wants a 300% carbon tax hike, all the way up to 61 cents a litre. Why not let Canadians choose a common-sense conservative government that will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime now?
Time's up. That was beautiful. I don't always praise anything that is said in the House of Commons, and because he gets into sloganeering again, axe the tax, build the homes, stop the crime. It's sloganeering, but that was inspired. Time's up. Very good. And that is exactly what it is for Justin Trudeau. The writing is on the wall. That's a cliche, but it comes from the book of Daniel, by the way. If you ever wondered, where does that come from? The writing was on the wall about the fall of the Babylonian Empire. Well, the fall of the Trudeau Empire is on the wall, is being written on the wall right now. And last night was a part of that. And what Pierre Poilievre said here is just so apropos.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
If the opposition had spent any time listening to Canadians over the summer, he would have heard that they need solutions. They need answers to the challenges they're facing. That's not what he's offering. Indeed, he doesn't care about Canadians. He just cares about himself and his own political.
How many times have I said Justin Trudeau is an expert at projection, at distraction, like the Democrats in the United States who accuse Donald Trump of everything they're doing, like persecuting their political enemies, like taking away free speech, like destroying democracy. Justin Trudeau accuses Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives of doing everything he's doing. Justin Trudeau is the consummate narcissistic individual. He's the consummate egotist. He's the consummate politician who doesn't care about anything except his own political future. And when he knows it's over in Canada, he's going to know he's got a future with the globalists. He's got a future with the UN, WEF, or someone giving the orders to Canada. And that's where Justin Trudeau's mind is going.
Interests. We're going to keep focused on doing the things that he refuses to do, whether it's him voting against dental care, whether it's him voting against child care, whether it's him voting against a national school food program. We're going to still deliver the things that matter to Canadians, like food in kids' bellies, child care spaces, and supports for seniors to go to the dentist, many of them first time in years.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Children are hungrier than ever after 9 years of the NDP Liberals. In fact, 25% of them are not getting enough food, and we now know why. A carbon tax fraud has been perpetrated by this NDP Liberal Prime Minister, who kept secret Environment Canada documents that showed that the carbon tax was blowing a $25 billion hole in our economy. Our economy per capita is smaller today than it was 10 years ago, during which time the American economy has grown by 19%. Instead of a reckless plan to hike the tax to 61 cents a litre, why not allow Canadians to vote to axe the tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Here's a news flash for the Conservative leader. Climate change costs money, and what would cost the most money to Canadians at all is his do-nothing climate plan.
Once again, the assumption that climate change has anything at all to do with all of these catastrophes that Justin Trudeau lists here. Floods, fires. He blames it all on climate change. This is absolutely asinine. This is a gong show of a government. And this is a poor excuse for a political leader to suggest it's all climate change, and the more money we waste on fighting climate change, the more we're going to save on floods. There won't be any more floods. And this is just, you have to be absolutely unhinged and without any thoughts in your head to actually buy this.
That's right. Newsflash. When the Toronto subway gets flooded, it costs money. Newsflash.
And climate change is behind the Toronto subway getting flooded. What kind of a moron would even say that?
When forest fires hit communities across this country, it costs Canadians money to rebuild. When you have droughts that hit farmers and agriculturists across this country, it costs money. What doesn't cost money is putting money in 8 out of 10 of the money of Canadians' pockets with the Canada Carbon Rebate to support their families and fight climate change.
He can't even get his own talking points down. He's stuttering and sputtering. How many times has he said that his stupid carbon rebate, Canadian carbon rebate, puts money back in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians? Even I can repeat his talking points. I've heard them so often. But Justin Trudeau can't even remember them.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister just proved my point. His tax doesn't stop floods, fires, or droughts. All it does is create more poverty. This also from a high-flying, high-taxing, high-carbon hypocrite who flew 92,000 kilometers in a fuel-guzzling, tax-funded private jet while he taxes single moms and seniors for heating their homes. Now, carbon tax Carney wants him to put the tax back on home heating oil. Will he reject carbon tax Carney and instead allow Canadians to choose to axe the tax?
And that, my friends, was the highlight of question period yesterday. In just a couple of minutes, Poilievre managed to expose Trudeau as a liar about the effectiveness, the efficacy of the carbon tax. It does nothing to stop floods or famine or drought, nothing. Poilievre really wanted to say climate change is not responsible because he's not there yet. Because you say that it's going to be a media firestorm. You can't. That makes him a climate change denier. So what he said was Trudeau's carbon tax doesn't do anything to stop these things. And that's undeniable. Trudeau would admit that. His climate tax has done nothing to stop it. We've had his climate tax, his carbon tax for years now. And it's done nothing to stem any of these floods or droughts or fires. We keep having them. So obviously his carbon tax isn't working. But Poilievre was able to say the other elephant in the room is that our standard of living is declining. And I showed you that chart the other day. Our standard of living is declining vis-a-vis the United States. Trudeau keeps lying about us being up number 1 in the G7 for debt to ratio. We're number 1 in foreign investment. It's all lies. The economy is shrinking in Canada, and as I've said, the Liberals have been stealing from the pension fund for years, and that's how they make up the difference. They've been playing wacky math with Canadians for years, and that's how they do it. So Poilievre decimated Trudeau again yesterday in question period. All Trudeau can do is stand up and sputter about his carbon rebate and about how effective his government is at giving dental care to children who can't use it and elderly people who have no teeth left. So it's absolutely bizarre. But this is a prime minister on the ropes, and he will continue to be on the ropes until a non-confidence motion defeats this government. Stay tuned, people, because it's going to happen in the fall, and we're going to have a November election. My prediction, a November election. And it remains to be seen whether or not the Liberals do that under Justin Trudeau. They might well do it. Trudeau might agree to have this election to save his political skin because he really believes when the chips are down, Canadians love him. Canadians will vote for his party again, and they want another 4 years of Justin Trudeau. He believes that because he is a narcissistic person. Thanks for watching today, folks. I'll be back again tomorrow. And I tell you, these are exciting times. There's so much to look at. We'll spend a little more time tomorrow talking about what's happening with the latest assassination attempt, but we'll keep our fingers on what's happening with Justin Trudeau and the demise of the Liberal Party. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with all the news you need to know.